In this step, you're going to be gluing these rails onto the side pieces. It's going to be important to note that you have one piece here which is shorter than every other one of them, and that's so that the piece doesn't extend out into this area. Okay. Also, you're going to make sure that you mark which side is the glue side. Make sure that you remember that, because you got to get these on the right sides. So pay attention to that in the video. You could also get some glue, a Q-tip, and a piece of paper to put the glue on when you're ready. Okay, for this next step, what you're going to probably want to have on hand is a piece of paper that we can use to put some glue on. Have some tape just in case we need that, and some Q-tips. Okay, you'll then also need the side pieces. These are the two parts that went into the bottom base that we just tested at the end of the last video. Okay. And you might just want to have a rag and some water to wipe up any glue. If you use a paper towel, that'll work, and that's fine. It just might leave little pieces of it on the wood rather than if you used a cloth. But is it really going to matter that much? No, not really. Okay, so what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be taking these pieces here, and we're going to be gluing them into these holes that are along the edges, and we're going to be doing that on both parts. Okay, but also this will be extremely important that you glue them correctly. So if we go back to this piece here, just kind of think it through. Okay, we're going to have this part in here on this side, okay, and this one's going to go here. Right? And so what these are going to do is hold the glass in place in front. So these are going to go here. Okay. And they're also going to hold in the backboard. Okay, so this is where they'll ultimately go. Okay. And then you're also going to have a set that goes here and here. Okay. But you'll do that on both sides. Okay, so it's important though that we know which side that we're going to glue them on. So just to remember, what I'm going to do is right above one of the holes, I'm just going to put a little pencil mark here. Okay, so I remember the side, and I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to just put a pencil mark above one of these holes, and that'll be the side that I glue on. Okay. All right. So pick a piece to start with and refer back to the mark that we just made. Okay, so we're going to glue on the parts that get glued onto the side. Okay. All right, so let's do it. We're going to take a little bit of glue first and put it on our paper. And then you can get a Q-tip handy too. You may have overdone it, but that's okay. All right. Now, you're going to want something heavy probably to set down on these when you're done. Tape could work. If you feel like tape is holding it down enough, then go for it. Otherwise, if you could set a book or something on once we get them all done, that would be fine too. Okay, so I don't want to get glue all over the place here. What I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to put a little bit of glue right into the edges here, right here, probably here. I'll run a little along. I'll put some right in. Whoops, put some right in here, and then right here in the edges, and do the same over here. So that's going to be kind of my strategy. And I don't want to really see a lot of this glue. I want to spread it out pretty thin. But I'm making sure I get that edge there. Just a thin coat. So you can kind of see, you don't really see it puddling up there or anything. Oops, anything like that. Don't worry about being perfect. I mean, just as long as you get some surface area covered here, it should be fine. Okay. There, and that's the first piece. Okay, I want to point out one thing here before I forget. Out of all these pieces, you're going to have one piece that's shorter than the rest of them. Okay, and you want to find that one. That's right here. Okay, you'll notice as we're putting this one together, if we were to jump to this other part, okay, there's my mark. So this is the glue side. This short one is gonna go in like this. So you can see it's cut short so that it doesn't extend into this area that's cut out here. All right. So you're going to continue that process for the rest of them. And just to run you through it, I'm not going to glue them, but I'm going to show it to you. We put them all in just like that. And once I had all of these on, I could set something on top of it. Or if you think your masking tape will do the trick, you can masking tape the edges down. So you got that one piece. And then you just finish up gluing the rest of them in. And ultimately they will go right where I'm putting them. All right, so you got these done. Set something on top of them or use tape. Let those glue up and set and you'll be all right. Just keep in mind this one right here is the shortest of them all. Okay, just to jump back to the gluing and the wet rag. So if you have any glue that came out of the edges after you glued it up, get yourself a rag. Okay, it's pretty saturated and you can wipe off any excess glue and don't worry about the wood getting wet. If you can get in the groove good, that's going to be helpful because we don't want to make it difficult for the plexiglass that's ultimately going to go in there to, we don't need anything in its way. So I just kind of wiped it off. Okay. And I just went over it all. And then I could, you might need to wait a second to get the tape on. If you get a little bit too wet, the masking tape might not hold. Otherwise, just lay them down, set something on top of them to just hold them until the glue sets up.